And that's when you'll see the demand for NIO stock go skyrocket. It's very hard to explain, and I might offend some people, but I'll try my very best. So NIO just delivered 10,000 vehicles. They broke the 10,000 barrier. That's a huge milestone, and it indicates two things. First of all, importantly, that demand is still there, the growth is still there, and more importantly is that there is a change in public sentiment towards NIO. It's actually a very, very huge one that I just have to share with you guys. And I'm going to tell you a few stories. And lastly, we're going to talk about why NIO stock has been lagging when it comes to the progression of the company. 10,000 deliveries, obviously it proves that NIO is indeed a good quality car. It does indeed have good service. To talk about it is one thing, but to experience it is a whole nother thing. So if you live in China and you haven't test drove a NIO yet, I highly recommend you to scan this QR code with your WeChat, go and test drive a NIO and experience that for yourself. So the recent development within NIO and NIO community has led me to believe that Tesla's unassailable lead has been put into question. First of all, there's a huge change in public sentiment. I'll explain that through several stories. So a while back, I was driving my car into this parking lot. This is where I live. And I heard some onlookers just say, 我靠，这车牛逼. So basically that means, holy crap, this car is dope. So, obviously this car does have a lot of interest amongst young people. All right. But what also really shocked me was when I went to play basketball with some of my pals, and there was this one kid that saw my car, and what happened was there was a bicycle blocking the road, and her mother and that kid helped remove that bicycle from the road, and the little kid was like, 你看大未来. So basically the kid said, hey, look, there's a big NIO, telling her mom about that. I mean, this kid was about 5 years old, and even he knew about NIO. So the younger generation know about NIO, the kids know about NIO. And what really shocked me was just yesterday, I went to deliver some wine to my father. The NIO wine, by the way. I was parking, and then I just parked my car, and there was this old grandpa on the bike, his wife, this granny, behind her. And then I was able to hear them say, 这车是未来. So even the grandpa, the old grandpa dude, knew about NIO. So you have a situation where NIO has really cemented themselves amongst the mind of the Chinese people here in China. And NIO's ultimate weapon is, of course, NIO owners. Each NIO owner is likely to spread the word of mouth that how great his car is, how great his vehicle is. And that will convince his friends and family and extended friends and family to buy the vehicle, or even at least try out the vehicle. So you see this as a result of word of mouth, that even the grandpas, the kids, the younger generations, they all know about NIO. Earlier I said how NIO has really put Tesla's unassailable lead into question. And this might offend some people, and I'm okay if you completely disagree with me, but I have to share this with you guys. NIO has done certain things much, much better than Tesla. So Tesla offers FOTA, right? Firmware over the air. That's really cool. You get new features for the car, and that's really, really nice. NIO also has FOTA, firmware over the air. For example, you get new features like snow mode, uphill mode, etc., etc. But what really sets NIO apart from Tesla is the fact that not only are there updates and upgrades on the software side, for NIO, there's also updates and upgrades on the hardware side, which you just don't see in other cars. For example, the screen. You can upgrade the screen, right? If you have thicker bezels, you can upgrade to thinner bezels, to OLED screens. If you don't have a Nomi, you can upgrade that. You can upgrade the interior lining. NIO has announced that you can upgrade the cameras around the car. And then they've also announced that you can upgrade the chip inside the car. So that really places NIO on a tier of its own, right? It's set themselves very different from all other EVs and all other car manufacturers. Nobody else is offering upgrades, right? So that sets them apart. And on top of that, there's also NIO's revolutionary service, right? Service comes to you, right? Anything happens with your car, you order a service, and there will be a service dude that comes and gets your car for you, fixes it up, and sends it back. And then there's also NIO House, which is a resting lounge that nobody else has. The closest thing that I've seen that another EV maker do is XPENG, but XPENG has only opened one of these stores where it's also a lounge for their owners, and that's only one compared to NIO, which they dedicate an entire floor to NIO owners for them to rest, have a coffee, have a place where the kids can play, and that really sets NIO on a whole different tier. And so that's two things, right? Hardware updates and also the service and NIO House. And then there's a third thing which quite recently has become very apparent that this is NIO's moat. And that is obviously battery swap. And what I mean by that is during this right now, it's a vacation. It's vacation season. People are driving, going on trips, road trips to their hometowns, etc. And they're all using the highway and they have to charge at the highway resting areas. And what's become apparent is that charging can be a big pain in the butt. I'm going to show you this photo. Now, of course, here you got the gas vehicles, right? Those are pretty fast. It only takes about maybe 7 or 8 minutes to fill up the tank of gas, pay, and then go, and then the next person. But there is obviously a pretty big line for that. And then you got the chargers, right, where they take a lot longer to fill up your vehicle, to charge your vehicle. And you can check out this clip where, man, this line is just huge. And people just waiting in line for a charger. Imagine you have to wait 1.5 hours to 2 hours for the guy in front of you to finish charging, and then you can start charging, and that takes another maybe 1 or 2 hours. So combined total, it might take you like 3 to 4 hours just spending time that highway resting spot. Meanwhile, with the NIOS, they just swap and go, and it takes them 5 to 7 minutes, 10 minutes tops if you count in the time to drive to the station. And through the whole ordeal, it's become such a struggle to find chargers that there's even been fights that broke out where, you know, these EV owners, they fight for the charger because they don't want to spend 3 to 4 hours waiting to charge. They don't want to wait for the guy in front of them to finish charging. They want to charge now. With all the NIO owners and potential NIO buyers observing this, they place themselves even in a higher pedestal. They think, oh my God, look, everybody else has to charge except us, right? And with NIO's current rapid expansion of battery swap stations all over the country, it's been super convenient for NIO owners to just swap and go, swap and go, swap and go. So they're thinking with all these factors combined, right? My car has hardware updates, not just software, also hardware updates, right? We have great service in a resting lounge, and my car doesn't need to charge. Just swap and go. Everybody else has to line up. Not us, not NIO owners. We don't have to line up. So all this has inflated NIO's image, which is really, really important. So the whole concept of owning a NIO just becomes so much brighter. And they've put it so that NIO is up here compared to other EV makers, which are down here. Now, I know this is going to offend some people, but this is the reality of it. NIOs don't have to wait in line to charge. You can if you wanted to. And this, everything put together creates brand Fandom, which you've seen in Tesla, right? There's a lot of Tesla fanboys and fangirls out there. And in China, there are a ton of NIO fanboys and fangirls. Now, obviously, once NIO is available in the United States, in Canada, people start experiencing what it feels like to own a NIO and being placed on a pedestal way up here compared to other EVs, which are still pretty good, but it's just on a whole nother level. And this brings me to, of course, NIO's ultimate weapon, which is the NIO owners themselves. And with NIO's ecosystem, you can refer your friends, and if they decide to purchase NIO, both you and your friend get extra bonus points that you can use to spend in NIO's shop. And this is really just causing a network effect of NIO owners super satisfied, super happy with their car. They tell their friends, they tell their family, they tell their parents, they tell their kids, they tell everybody. And then those guys, they try it out, they buy it, and they tell everybody as well, and it spreads like wildfire. There's this one NIO owner, and his whole entire extended family bought 16 NIOs. 16, 1-6. That's crazy. And he's been actually helping me out a lot with a lot of stuff. And hopefully I'll be able to interview him in the future. So there's this big shift in consumer sentiment that NIO is the luxury brand. And NIO has stuff that nobody else has. NIO has service that nobody else has. NIO saves you time that nobody else has. And all this just lifted NIO's image in the minds of the people in China. Now, why has that not translated into gains in NIO stock, which is very, very important for many of my viewers, which are mostly NIO stockholders? Well, I'm going to tell you that even though NIO stock is currently lagging behind its performance, NIO stock is going to be a rocket in the future. The reason NIO stock hasn't been catching on with the development of the company and its deliveries and everything like that is because of the fact that a lot of NIO fanboys and fangirls aren't able to buy NIO stock. They're all located in China, right? Most NIO owners are Chinese, and they just can't buy NIO stock. There's no way to buy it because NIO is listed in the US. So it's American buyers and non-Chinese buyers that, can buy NIO stock. But all these people in China that are NIO owners, they want to buy NIO stock. They try their best to buy NIO stock. They even find ways to buy NIO stock. They even find loopholes. And some of them do end up buying NIO stock, but the majority of them can't buy NIO stock. And this is a huge reason why the price of NIO stock hasn't really increased as much as most of us would hope for. In America, where Tesla is located, right? Tesla's headquartered in America. All the American fanboys get access to Tesla and they can buy Tesla stock and they love it, right? You have the car, you support the car company, you see how great of a vehicle Teslas are, and you buy the stock knowing that it's going to be a bright future for them. And it paid out well. But here in China, NIO owners, most of them can't buy NIO stock. So that's something you got to keep in mind. So there's a huge demand for NIO stock that's just tucked away, that can't be unleashed, and probably never will be unleashed because of the fact that you can't buy NIO stock. And unless NIO lists domestically here in China, not in Hong Kong, in China, through A shares, then that demand can be unleashed and people buy into NIO stock. Because, man, I can tell you, even the grandpa probably wants to buy a NIO stock. The kid will probably buy NIO stock because their image of NIO inside their minds is just way up there. NIO's listing in Hong Kong, if they do list in Hong Kong, that's not going to be as helpful as unleashing this demand, because most of these people in China don't have access to H shares in Hong Kong. Some of them do. Like my dad, he has access to H shares in Hong Kong, and he does a lot of investing in Hong Kong, but most people don't. So you'll have constantly this pocket of demand for NIO stock that just will never be released. But this brings me to the future prospect of NIO stock, and the future looks bright. I mean, from everything that I just told you, NIO setting themselves way up there, setting themselves way apart from everyone else. It's super different from all other EVs. And once it launches in Norway, which it already has, and people start taking delivery, and once it launches in other European countries and the USA and Canada, now obviously that means it has grown a lot. But by then you'll see that a lot of these new buyers, new owners in Canada and US and Europe, they love the car so much that they're going to be investing in NIO. And that's when you'll see the demand for NIO stock go skyrocket, because I can guarantee you that there are rarely any NIO owners that are dissatisfied with the car. Most NIO owners are super satisfied with the car and would love to buy NIO stock. I remember vividly there was someone posting inside the NIO app that they wanted to buy NIO stock and they couldn't. They don't know how. They looked at the price. It was $1. Back then it was $1 something. And they just wanted to put all their money into NIO stock, but they couldn't. And that's just the hard truth. So guys, you're gonna have to live with the fact that there's big demand for NIO stock that can't be unleashed, right? But in the future, there will be more demand for NIO stock. The future is bright for NIO. That's how you gotta think about it. This is gonna sound a bit condescending, but NIO owners think of themselves as kings, right? Because of the service and everything. And this brand loyalty means that NIO owners in the future, they're not gonna be buying any other car other than NIO. They've gotten used to battery swaps. They've gotten used to service pickup. They've gotten used to having a luxurious NIO house that they can rest and chill at. Let me know in the comments, are you as excited as I am for the future for NIO? And if you like my content, a like would be awesome. A subscribe and hit the bell would be amazing. So thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy.